Okay, so today we're going to react to Asking Liberals and Conservatives, what's your message to the other side by Man vs. Street? It caught my eye because it's interesting. A lot of street interviews are usually one-sided, besides our channel. And I did look into this Man vs. Street channel, and they are associated with, I guess, the Daily Caller based on their About page, which is kind of more of a right-wing media site. But I'd be curious to see how they conduct this street interview and if they're able to do it like in an impartial way. So let's see.
Do you have a message for like Trump supporters or other people who voted Republican?
Yeah, I mean, just please be kind and be understanding. Don't judge. Don't discriminate.
Just that Trump lost. Get out.
What's my message to all the Antifa? This is my message.
Wow, what's my
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of exactly what I expected. It's definitely, look, as a content creator, right, you kind of want to get like the most extreme of the most provocative messages right in the beginning. And obviously, right, we kind of just saw two of that, right? Both the liberal and the conservative kind of saying the most extreme things. But let's see if we're able to at least find some nuances in the short 3-minute video.
First of all, keep it peaceful, but yeah, we're very peaceful. We'll keep it peaceful until we can't keep it peaceful any longer. We really should stick to the facts.
Let people, especially black people, let them live. Don't bother them. Mind your business.
It really.
So that's an interesting point. And I'm hearing it more and more recently. It's kind of like this, in a way, maybe she didn't mean that in a short blurb, but kind of more and more of this kind of forced segregation in a way. So recently, I think USC, recently UC Berkeley held a black-only graduation, which in all aspects is great, right? They can have their space, but if we really look at it, isn't that a bit of segregation? Is that really going to create more equality or more opportunity? At the end of the day, right, the United States is not a homogenous society. In fact, it's a melting pot, as it claims, right? So to want to create these separate little pockets where only certain races are allowed, is that going to create more equality? Whenever people hold these sorts of like events that is black only, Asian only, white, okay, not white only, you can't do that, I guess, but that creates more a division than equality in my mind. So keep that into perspective, right? At the end of the day, liberals and conservatives aren't separate things. And the more you talk to each side, the more you'll realize it, is that at the end of the day, we want the same things, just slightly different roads to try and get to that same thing.
It is a shame that we're so divided, and the media has done it. They have done it. There's a narrative that they put out, and there's a narrative that we put out. We have the facts and evidence to back it up. If people just woke up, they would see. The problem is they're coming out to start trouble. We're not here to start trouble. We're here to protect people. That's it. We just want to protect everyone. We would love to come together.
So that's also the thing too, right? Is that both sides, whenever there is a protest, they're both trying to protect something. And that they're both trying to protect maybe old ideals or new ideals or whatever it is that they hold true and dear to them. That's what they're trying to protect. If you realize that, you'll notice that no one views themselves as the villain, because in their minds, they're the heroes of their own story, right? So if you're able to see that, I think you're able to empathize with people that you may initially disagree with. Once you break that kind of initial resistance of talking to someone that you obviously may not agree with, you'll then be able to start empathizing and start seeing yourself in them too.
In some way, but they just don't want to talk. We're the ones that are always trying to make conversation and talk. They don't want to.
I'm curious, what do you guys think though? It's interesting how like both parties have also evolved as time went by too, right? In the sense that the left were the ones that were kind of upholding free speech. But now I think the right has kind of leaned in more in terms of, oh, cancel culture is bad, even though, conservatives are also doing the whole cancel culture thing with the whole Bud Light situation. But I think generally now the right has kind of gravitated towards themselves as like the free speech party. So it's very interesting to see how parties kind of just shift. In my mind, I think towards the years, I think everything has just become a little bit more extreme. What's interesting is that obviously for me, I'm not right wing. I'm not left wing. And I really do like to consider myself not a centrist, but neutral in the sense that I don't care and I'd like to take a look at it issue by issue. If I don't support the current thing, if I kind of question things, I'm already kind of pushed towards this right. But it's obviously not as binary as that. And that's what I'm trying to tell people through my mission too.
Whatever Biden is supposed to do, I trust God that he's going to put it in him to do whatever he needs to do for the people. Acceptance is the answer. That's it.
Real short, real sweet.
Our president has done right by this country. Every time we try to get facts from them why they hate him so much, I don't get facts. The facts are that he's saved this country, he's trying to save this country, save our Constitution, which we're trying to hold on to, get us out of corruption. All he's trying to do is help. Nothing to gain, he already had it all. Give him a chance. He didn't do anything wrong. Once you
I will say though, what's kind of like, I guess, impressive about Trump is like how much of a fan base that he's been able to create. It's very interesting how Trump has kind of created like this cult-like following that even after he lost this past election, there's still so much like galvanized support behind him.
start talking about what did he really actually do besides call him a racist, he didn't do anything. He loves this country as we do. Just need to open your ears.
To let people know that Joe Biden's not the only one who opposes this fascist Trump regime.
I feel as though the Democratic Party is using great resources like Black Lives Matter to really hide their real agenda, which is to take over and to have a country of tyranny. And it's absolutely frightening that our freedoms of speech are being taken away.
That he's a
See, like, do you guys see there how like kind of like the right have gravitated towards as like the party of free speech? But like, look, one thing that I've realized definitely recently with like the whole Bud Light controversy is that the conservatives do the exact same thing of like canceling other people's voices and I guess boycotting and using certain movements to kind of push their agenda too. I mean, that's the whole point of, in a way, like a political party, right? Is to use and latch on to certain movements to be able to get enough votes to then be able to continue influencing more policies that favor them. So that's like the whole function of like a political party, and both sides do that.
a fascist and he needs to get out now. That even the next 40 days is too long. He needs to leave now. He needs to be arrested now.
Well, I think the true meaning behind the Black Lives Matter, I think that all lives matter, to try to make it, I know there's issues that we have in our country, but I think they're isolated, and I think they're using it as a scapegoat. So I think all lives matter, you know, even the lives of the unborn. So I would say the Biden supporters that they need to get the facts, not rely on the media to get all the information, and to be able to think for themselves.
Don't.
A funny thought, but I feel like a white liberal's worst enemy is not a white conservative, but a black conservative. Especially if they're trans or gay too, then they're unbeatable.
Hurt others when possible, and just, you know, act with kindness, and don't bother people if they're not bothering you, basically.
I really liked her message so far. I think she's been kind of like the most level-headed. I think she's on the side of the liberals, I'm guessing. She seems the most level-headed in the sense that, you know, you shouldn't censor people, but, you know, really view others as other humans and act with empathy and compassion. How can you not get behind that?
I hope they wake up and they realize that we're going to turn into a socialist America.
My message is right here, that they lost. They need to just get over it, and they need to leave, along with their president.
Honestly, we really got to come together.
We're from Utah, and I have a baked potato restaurant, and people were calling Trump a Trump-tator, like a dictator, and I thought we can't let that happen. So we created this adorable character. Turn the sign around.
Okay, so you get the point. I gotta say, I really like this video in the sense that they just let people talk, right? Even though Man vs. Street might be associated with the Daily Caller, which is more of a right-wing media organization, they just let people talk. And it was just a whole compilation of, you know, I'm assuming they asked some sort of question to, you know, to get to the bottom of their beliefs, and they just let them talk. That's great. I think more media platforms need to do that, right? Is that just let people talk. Like, at the end of the day, that's why canceling people and censoring them is never the answer, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to present as many perspectives as possible, because one, either some people might agree with it, or two, if you disagree with it personally, you can then hear out those different perspectives and maybe even come up with better arguments to argue your point. Or you might actually even find merit in what they're saying if you really listen closely. So that's all I'll say, man. I actually really like this video. They need to do more videos like this where we really just hear out both sides and don't try and present your bias by being a dick of an interviewer. So love this video, and yeah, let me know if you want to see more, and subscribe, like, comment, do all the things, you know.